Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile, we're continuing on with our Vmon Imperial theme that we got going. Virus type this time around. So everybody playing this deck, really looking forward to showing you guys this deck profile that I put together. Now, caveat to this list, I have been working on it for a couple weeks now, and I feel awkward about it still. Like, it's just kind of in this awkward state, but this is the best I could get it. So I wanted to get it out there to you guys. If there's any suggestions on changes that you guys would recommend for myself or for others that are watching this later on, please put it in the comment section below. It's going to help out a ton for everybody. So greatly appreciate the support. In addition to that, we do have another caveat, is that we are running a promo that is not out just yet, but I feel like literally this deck can't really operate that well without it, just because there's no other good choices for the slot. This deck desperately needs this card like as soon as possible. So yeah, so we went ahead and included it, and of course it's the very first card. We do have the Minomon here, the promo. It's just awkward, right? You really need a purple baby, and you really need a Minomon as well because of our new Wormmon here. Blue, red, or a Minomon in name. You don't want to run a green Minomon, right? You could run a red baby instead if you want, but then your Vmon here has nothing to digivolve on top of, so the ideal target is a purple Minomon, and only one exists in this game, and it's in this promo. Now, it is a very good promo though. So when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon is multicolored by trashing one card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. This is a nice little on-demand trash a card in your hand. This deck really revolves around having your key pieces in trash, so having a way to reliably get them there is really, really handy. And we have multiple duo colors throughout the whole deck, right? Even in our rookie slot in this new Wormmon here is a duo color. We of course have our level 4s that can trigger it, and naturally everything higher than that. So really good. Also, being able to pop a level 3 is going to be really nice for us, because in case your opponent has something like a Pommelmon that says your opponent can't play Digimon by effects, that can really wreck this deck super hard. So being able to just clear that out of the way for you is going to be really important. So hands down, the best choice and kind of the only choice for this deck. Now, for our rookies here, our first up, we've got the new BT16 Vmon here, 16 Vmon. This is just kind of rounding out our rookie lineup, getting us to that nice, comfortable 14 that we like to be at. Your turn once per turn, when one of your other Digimon is played or digivolves into a free trait or green, gain 1 memory. So makes your level 4 Evo cost 1 less, which is really, ideal for a lot of what we're trying to do in this deck. And then also as a 2k DP buff, inheritable. Actually super relevant for this deck because we have no source for jamming. Unlike the blue-green variant that has that nice jamming in pretty much all their stacks, this deck doesn't have that. So to kind of circumvent that, we need to have some good DP buffs. So he's a nice little addition for just that. Now, for our Wormmons in here, we do have the BT16, which I did mention earlier. Evos for 0 on top of our Minomon. Start of your main phase or on play. Really nice set of keywords there. If it's your turn, one of your Digimon may digivolve into a level 4 Digimon card with the Insectoid or free trait in your trash with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. What's really nice about this is that effect works for other of your Digimon or for himself. So you can digivolve himself or something else and still get that reduction. And then inheritable when attacking once per turn, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Really important for this deck. Actually allows you to do some really gnarly combos when we get to our final top end of the deck. So we'll come back to that a little bit later. Next up, we've got the EX3 Wormmon. This is our Searcher. Reveal 3, add a purple or red with free, and then or a Imperial in name among them to your hand. So you can hit your blue-green Imperial fighter mode off this. Trash one card, one such card. So it does have to be one of those types, and then plays the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. has Retaliation. As long as you have a red Digimon in play, doesn't even have to be this Digimon specifically, but you get Retaliation for this stack, which is really powerful, especially in conjunction with something like this XVmon that has Raid. So level 4 with Raid, Retal, your opponent's going to have to really, really be on their game when you can do combos like this and just like out super good stacks for yourself. All right, next we got the EX3 Bmon as well. On play, could trash an Imperial or free trait to draw 2, and also has the inheritable of plus 2k DP. As long as, again, you have a purple in play anywhere. It doesn't have to be this Digimon, could be another Digimon, doesn't matter. Another 2k buff for our potential here. And that's it for the rookies. Every one of them has their role, has their specific uses, all very, very important for the deck. Now for our level 4s, of course, we're running the new Shadramon here. This card is so good. This promo is rather expensive, but it's kind of needed for the deck. So when Digivolving, you can play a Vmon or a Wormmon from your trash suspended without paying the cost. This is really powerful in conjunction with the new Wormmon. So play the new Wormmon that immediately lets you Evo from trash, and you can actually keep that cycle going. So new Wormmon then Evos into another promo Shadramon. Promo Shadramon plays out another Wormmon. His on play allows him to Digivolve, and you can literally, as long as you have the cards in trash, you could go through all 4 of them and just play them all right back out. And granted, it is for 1 memory every time, so it does add up. But it's still cool nonetheless. And then inheritable on deletion, you may play a Vmon or Wormmon from your hand suspended without paying the cost. So a little bit of insurance in case things go sideways for you. Now for our other level 4s, we kind of have a little bit of spread here. The EX3 level 4s are still very important for the deck. You can't really cut these guys out. Because they're when Digivolving, you activate one of the effects. You can either Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a level 4. For the Flamedramon, it's a purple. And then for the Shadramon, it's a red, right? So it's the opposite of whatever you just Digivolved into to guarantee that you're going to get your red and your blue on the field. And then when you Digivolve into that other one, you can use the next effect, which lets you then immediately DNA those 2 into one of your level 5s. So yeah, really powerful stuff here. Big fan. And then end of turn inheritable lets you DNA. And just so everyone's aware of the order of operations here, you're going to resolve all your when Digivolving effects and your Evos, and then you're going to proceed into your end of turn effects. So your when Digivolving effect is what allows you to DNA the first time into a level 5. And then you're going to resolve any of that level 5's when Digivolving effects. And then, if assuming you've passed turn, you'll resolve your end of turn of inheritables at that point. So that's going to allow you to basically DNA twice in a row, even though you've technically passed turn. Now, I have the XVmon here, which we already kind of talked about earlier. Really cool combos with the Retal. Has a plus 2k inheritable. It is a red source for us, so, we don't lose out on that value there. It has a on play when Digivolving. One of your Digimon can't be deleted in battle until the end of your opponent's turn. This is kind of awkward, because if you give it to himself and then you DNA, he loses it, because the DNA doesn't keep that protection effect. So that can be kind of a little bit wonky and not like the most ideal, but still the raid is really nice, so I did want to at least include it as a talking point. There's also the Raremon, the promo Raremon on play for play cost. Trash 1 card in your hand, draw 2. Very similar to our Vmon that we discussed, but this can be any card in your hand. There's no restriction to what you have to discard to get that draw 2. It is a purple, so it's going to give you another choice for DNA with, and gives you the inheritable of when attacking by trashing 1 card in your hand. Delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. So same thing as the Minnomon. But again, a little bit less restrictive. Trash 1 card, and this one is, if it's multicolored, you can trash 1 card. So, but granted, anything that's going to have him as an inheritable is going to be multicolored. So, it's the same thing as your Minnomon. Still a solid card. If you don't want to run these 2, you don't want to have the flexibility or whatever, you just want to be very straightforward and efficient, then you could definitely cut these 2 guys and then just run each of these at 4 of no problem. Now for our level 5s, there's not really much choice. Like the new Dino Beamon is a given. You have to run this at 4 of. This is the only way this deck is even remotely feasible to play anymore, and that's because of Partition. Partition basically is helping keeping stacked decks alive in this game that wide boards are kind of king right now. So if you can go wide, you're in a really good position. And if you go into a stack and you lose your stack, you're just like, well, I lose now, right? Partition, though, helps you get around that by allowing you to pop your 2 level 4s out, and then immediately you can, combo off all over again with those level 4s. So even if you lose your big stack, you're going to be in still a pretty solid position. This one does have Raid here, and then when Digivolving, if DNA Digivolving, you may play 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card with a free trait from your trash without paying the cost. Then one of your Digimon may gain Rush, and if it does, it attacks a player. That there's an errata on that. The correct term or the correct wording is it may gain Rush. Otherwise, you just get Rush, and if you are keeping turn, then you can use that Rush to attack anything you want. Whereas the errata is like, if you want to give it Rush, it has to immediately attack a player, no matter what. And then has the Partition inheritable, so you don't worry about losing that fabulous keyword of Partition, even if you Evo up. Now, our ideal target, of course, is the Imperialdramon, because his effect is when DNA Digivolving, you play a Dino Beamon from trash. So you don't want to go too heavy on the Dino Beamon names, because, losing out on your Imperialdras, because if you cut this one down to 3 and you bump up one of the old Dino Beamons, there's less targets for that old Dino Beamon to bring back. So I stuck with the 4 and 4 here. Still feels fine. On deletion, you may play a Vmon from your trash without paying the cost. Not a super big deal. I guess if you gave him Rush and he attacked and died, you could then at least still get into a Vmon. And then has Security Attack +1 inheritable, which is really nice in conjunction with our Fighter mode that can attack twice. Now, speaking of, let's go ahead and get into our Dragon mode here, which does have a DNA effect, which is going to be really important because your Flamedramons and your Shadramons end of turn effects is allow you going to DNA into your Dragon mode. So if DNA Digivolving, your opponent chooses one of their Digimon and deletes the rest, then Blitz. So you clear your opponent's entire board, you leave them with 1 Digimon, and then Blitz. So you immediately attack, and whatever you didn't delete, this Wormmon here can then immediately suspend it for you. So you don't have to worry about it blocking you or anything like that. When attacking once per turn, this Digimon gets +2k for the turn. Again, we don't have jamming, so that's really nice. Then you can Digivolve into a Fighter mode in your hand for its Digivolution cost. It's a bit of a bummer that it's for the cost, just because so much these days is like, just ignore the Fighter mode cost. It's not a big deal. Like the past 2 Dragon modes we've gotten allow you to ignore the Fighter mode Evo cost. So definitely could use an update to this Dragon mode, hopefully soon. Now for the level 6, I did choose to go with the Ace. I could have gone with the original Fighter mode here. It has Piercing, which is it's okay. It's not super big of a deal. But the thing is, your mid-attack, he has no unsuspend effects, so you wouldn't be able to really utilize that Piercing as much unless the target they chose not to delete was already suspended. But that's really it. So when Digivolving, you can bounce a Dragon mode to the bottom of the deck to turn off their security effects, which again isn't super big deal because we have Partition now. So honestly, if this guy was to die in security, it's not that bad because then we could just Partition out into 2 level 4s and then combo off all over again. And then on deletion, you can play a Wormmon and 1 Vmon from your trash without paying the memory cost. Which, we have the new Shadramon here, which kind of does that, resets up for us anyways. This one's from hand, though. The other's from trash. So basically, you can guarantee that you're going to have targets because you're going to use whatever was in his sources to play right back out. But I chose the Fighter mode Ace instead. So on play, when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digimon cards as this Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So whatever they chose not to delete with the Dragon mode, the Fighter mode is immediately going to answer that and then bottom deck that. So that's a full board clear right there, assuming there's no floaters involved. End of attack, sorry, once per turn, unsuspend this Digimon. So in case you did, right, they deleted something and they say they had like Nume X, and then Nume X let them play something for free. So they got 2 Digimon in play, right? Well, Fighter Mode Ace, that when Digivolving, that's going to clear one of them, but you still have the other one. That's the one you're going to choose to suspend with the Wormmon inheritable, so that way it is suspended. And then you have, then if Imperialdramon Dragon Mode is in this Digimon TCG cards, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So still end up clearing that body anyways. And then I guess in the event that there is somehow yet another Digimon, even after board wipe, bounce, another bounce, if there's still a body, you did unsuspend, you could then swing again and possibly clear it with that swing. So really powerful engine here. Really powerful like combo that you can do with this. Like if you can get up into your dragon mode and then evo into a fighter mode, like your opponent is going to be hurting so bad because you full board cleared them, everything, sent everything back. They're going to be hurting real bad. Now, the tricky part of this deck is to do this combo, right? And if you've been paying attention, there's a lot that needs to be in trash to do all of these things, right? The level 5s being able to play a second level 5 from your trash, right? Your Wormmon being able to evo from trash, all kinds of things like that. So the best target, in my opinion, for the deck to run is Analog Youth. It's only a 2-play cost card. Reveal 3, add any Digimon you want, and then trash everything else. So that's going to be a great way to set up your trash as fast as possible. Literally nothing else in this game is going to do it faster than Analog Youth and give you as much control. There's no blind mills or anything like that. You know, you get a little bit more control out of it. And it's only for 2 memory, so it's super efficient at that. And then all turns, if a level 5 or higher with sources is deleted, you can then suspend it to gain a memory and hatch an egg to help you basically combo right back off on the following turn, or at least extend your turn and hopefully being able to bounce back. I'm running this card at a 4 of. You want to see this in your opening hand, and you want to have a second in play by like turn 3. This game is just way too fast to try to do this big, huge combo that needs stuff in trash and in hand and like all these pieces. Like you need to be able to do that combo by like turn 2 or 3. Or else you're probably just going to lose to stuff like Nume, right? And they're just like, Ukamon Rush, like, I just promote and promote and promote and promote, and yeah, it's just, I gain a ton of memory. There's no repercussions here. Everything feels good. You got to be fast. So having Analog Youth is going to be our best bet. Now, for the next spot, this is kind of an either-or choice, depending on what you prefer. We have the new Davis and Ken Duo Tamer. So, start of your main phase, you can play a Vmon or Wormmon from your hand without paying the cost. Again, we've got some great on-play targets for just that, either discarding, searching, free evos, that sort of thing, or at least reduced evo cost. And then just being able to do this every single turn is going to be really, really important for you. And then your turn, this next part used to not matter, but because of the change that we made in the deck, it actually kind of does. When one of your Digimon digivolves into a blue or green Digimon, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. If DNA trash digital card, the DNA part doesn't matter, but the gain 1 memory actually is relevant. If you're rocking an XVmon, you can help reduce that evo cost a little bit. If you go into your fighter mode for 2 memory on top of your dragon mode here, you can help supplement that as well by gaining some memory back. So he actually does have a little bit of multi-use going on here. Now, the other choice that I was thinking about was the Ken from the new movie promo. So start of main phase, if you have a free type, gain 1 memory. So a little bit to help you gain some memory for us. And then on play, you can play a Wormmon from your hand without paying the cost. So, you know, even if you have to, you know, spend that 3 memory to get him in play, you don't really lose out of it as long as you're playing a Wormmon with him. So another choice, I was leaning more towards the Davis and Ken Duo Tamer just because playing it in blue-green has been phenomenal, so I absolutely expect it to do just as well over here. So that would be the one I would personally go with as a 2 of, but there is still argument for the movie promo Ken. Now these last few cards, this is completely a take it or leave it, not necessary at all, but they are just nice little additions to have in the deck. First up, we've got Miss Memory Boost, so trash 2, draw 1, delay, gain 2 memory. Because we're not trying to rely too much on these inheritables here, if possible, being able to just be able to do your combos and not worry about passing turn is really powerful. So being able to delay gain 2 memory is nice. Get a little bit of trash set up, draw a card. You know, there is argument for running Miss Memory Boost. It is not as good as Analog Youth, in my opinion. It's one more memory. You've got blind mills involved. So yeah, a little bit different. So imagine if you got to mill 3 and then pick one of those instead. You know, that would be a much better trade-off for sure. I do have 2 Death to Cannons in here. I'm a big advocate for running at least 2 removal options in like every deck I run, unless the deck is just hyper efficient at removal. And Death to Cannon, I feel like for purple is kind of the way to go right now. If you're looking at running a purple removal option, in my opinion, Death to Cannon is the better choice. You could run a Fly Bullet. It's 1 memory less, but it's always locked to level 6 or lower, where this card has the potential to go all the way up to level 7. So delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. If there are 10 or more cards in your trash, add 1 to the maximum level of the Digimon you can delete with this effect. We're trashing like crazy in this deck, right? We're throwing stuff in trash left and right. You know, getting 10 cards in trash, not too bad. And by the time you're at the point where you want to play a card like this, it's probably at least turn 4 or 5, and the opponent has something worthy of playing this card on. You're not going to be needing to play this on turn 1, right? Like, in those situations, you're like, I need a Death to Cannon that Ukamon, right? It's like, no, it's not going to happen, okay? So, I think there's good value here, and especially with something like Mirage running around the format, Burst Mode being level 7, you need to be able to clear that, because that can just absolutely end you, like, super efficiently and very quickly. So, having this in security or even just hard playing it is going to put you in a really good position. And the last card we have is the Calling. It's a purple deck. It's a purple base deck. So delete 1 Digimon, then return 2 purple Digimon cards from your trash to your hand. And we do have a lot that's not necessarily purple. While dual color, yes, we do have some that aren't purple at all. So you do lose a little bit of value there, but we still have so much in this deck that it still works really nicely. If you don't have a Digimon in play, this is just a 1 memory, grab 2 cards back from your trash. It's so good. So it's just a one of here. It's a very powerful one of. So if you're playing a purple deck, you're pretty much always playing the Calling. I don't really know of any purple decks that wouldn't run the Calling. It's just too good not to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, there's a couple caveats to the list. Hope you guys understand. If there are any suggestions, please put it in the comment section below. I'm always happy to learn and happy to help out other people that are trying to make this deck work. This deck is not easy. This is not a healthy format to play it in, but it's still fun. We've got new cards, we've got new tools, new toys, all that fun stuff. So now is the time to play this if you're looking to have some fun with this game and looking to make this deck work once again.